Lakshmana gathered their weapons and led Rama south. Lakshmana kept down his eyes, and soon he discovered a sharp torn piece of gold armor, then a sharp iron arrow, 8 paces long and stout as a mace, then a huge vulture wing feather crushing beneath it 2 asses who wore the faces of demons, the wreckage of a war chariot fallen in many pieces, the ground blood-soaked and raked with hooves and claws and marks not human. Then Lakshmana found 10 great bleeding dark arms torn off at the shoulders. Rama looked at all this and said, "Here the Rakshasas fought each other over Sita, and they tore her apart, and this is her blood all over." Lakshmana said, "These are all left arms. The hands wear costly gold rings. The Rakshasa king himself was here. Look there." They saw Jatayu. The vulture king lay on his back, barely alive. Lakshmana and Rama ran to him, and slowly Jatayu said, "Lord Rama, it was my age, my old age alone kept me from killing Ravana to save your wife." Rama said, "You have given away your life for me, and despite that my life herself has been taken from me, and they killed her." "She is alive, Sita lives," Jatayu coughed. "Not without cost did Ravana go past me on his sky chariot." Blood ran from Jatayu's beak, and he died. Rama said, "See how in every race of creatures live the brave." Rama and Lakshmana went south. At last they came to the southern limit of Dandaka forest and saw a lake, and a hill nearby covered with green. In that place lived a saintly old woman named Savari. Savari was very old, all dressed in white with long gray hair. She rose to welcome her guests, and Rama said, "I am Rama. Are you well? Do you use little food and little anger?" "I am Savari," she smiled. "Favored now is my birth, since you have come, my Lord Rama." Rama asked, "Where are we?" Savari said, "Ayodhya, Prince. That hill is Rishyamukha, and over it Ravana carried Sita away through the sky." "You saw them?" "Rama, in misfortune, seek for friendship." "Where?" asked Rama. Savari replied, "On Rishyamukha live the 2 monkeys, Sugriva and Hanuman. The monkey king Vali has driven Sugriva from the cave city of Kishkinya and banished him. Vali is Sugriva's brother, yet he has separated him from his loving wife. Only Hanuman remains Sugriva's friend." "Hanuman." Ram looked at the hill. "Who is this monkey, Hanuman?" "That white monkey?" Savari laughed. "Oh, no one can equal him. He is brave and kind. He is the child of the wind. Listen, Rama, I will tell you the best story I know. Vayu, the restless wind, went one morning to Kishkinya, the city of the monkeys. Anjana, the monkey girl, was walking atop a green mountain when Vayu came to her. He gently stole away her clothes and embraced her in his long arms. That same day Hanuman was born. He was a little monkey with white fur and a red face. Anjani left him at the mouth of a small cave on a hill and went home. Little baby Hanuman was hungry. Night came and went by, and dawn approached. No one came to feed him. He lay on his back by his cave, looking at his toes, and the sky grew lighter and lighter. Hanuman saw the glorious sun rise into the air like a big, ripe mango fruit. Newborn though he was, he knew what fruit was. He licked his sharp, bright little teeth. crouched down and jumped with a leap and a bound up into the sky and went flying straight at the sun. Hanuman drew near to Surya, and the sun beamed at him. Hanuman smiled back at the sun. The fire of daylight was burning all around the sun's chariot, and the flames sucked up the air and pulled Hanuman into the crackling white fire. Hanuman tumbled and spun unhurt inside the sun's fire. It was time for solar eclipse. The immortal disembodied head of the Asura Rahu advanced to swallow the sun alive. He came close and opened wide his black mouth. Hanuman bobbed and swirled in the updraft of the sun, fighting against the currents of air and flames. Then he came sailing out and accidentally put his foot right in Rahu's eye. Rahu went to Indra. "Another Rahu is eating the sun." "More trouble," said Indra. He got on his great white elephant, Airavata. Rahu led the way. This time Hanuman got a good look at him. Rahu was just a round head. He looked like a bigger mango than the sun did. And Hanuman jumped on him and bit his ear. Indra cried, "Stop that!" and pushed Hanuman away with the flat side of his thunderbolt. Hanuman fell back to earth. He broke his jaw, falling on a stone by the mouth of his own cave. Vayu, the Lord of the Winds, saw this and was angry. He went to his son Hanuman and took him inside the little cave and held him. The wind hid himself. The bodies of living creatures became hard as wood, and their joints stiffened into knots. The ever-moving air lay still. Vayu looked out in anger at all the world and stayed with his child. Lord Rama came to Hanuman's cave and with a touch healed his jaw. Rama said, "Wind, you are breath. I made you for life and for life's happiness." Vayu said, "Who can go when the wind waits?" Rama said, "Hanuman, on the lap of the wind shining white, you will live as long as you wish to live. You cannot be killed." That pleased the wind. He came out and the worlds could breathe again. Vayu carried Hanuman to Lord Shiva. Shiva taught Hanuman to change form at pleasure. Nandan the bull taught him languages. Hanuman discovered that he had been wearing golden earrings all his life without knowing it. No one else can see those little gold rings except some person as yet unknown to Hanuman, who will meet him and be his friend and master. So said the bull Nandan. Hanuman grew up and lived with Sugriva in Kishkinya. Vali was the king. At first Vali was well-liked, but he soon became petty and mean. He would go out of Kishkinya looking for fights. By the entrance of Kishkinya cave there was a pile of the white bones of those who had accepted Vali's challenges. The Asura Mayavi heard of Vali's might and came to Kishkinya to challenge him. Sugriva and Vali chased Mayavi and saw him enter a cave hidden by grass. Vali ordered Sugriva to wait outside and entered alone. Sugriva waited there for a year. Then blood came out of the cave. Sugriva heard the cries of Asuras. He went just inside and called Vali over and over. There was never any answer, and Sugriva could hear the Asuras of the underworld coming up and their noise getting nearer. To keep them from attacking Kishkinya, Sugriva left the cave and sealed it with a stone. Sugriva became king of the monkeys. But Vali was not killed. He spent a year down in that cave searching for Mayavi, and then Mayavi and many other Asuras attacked Vali. Vali killed them. He came up the cave passage to earth and found it closed, and kicked apart the stones Sugriva had put there, and like a ghost he returned. Sugriva willingly surrendered the crown diadem of Kishkinya, but Vali wrongly exiled Sugriva for treason. Vali holds Sugriva's wife Rama a prisoner. Only Hanuman has stayed with Sugriva. "Whoever hears this story of the monkey Hanuman," said Savari, "gains his every desire. Rama, the true monkey king is on Rishyamukha hill, and the quest for Sita is in his hands. O Rama, Vali is strong, but Sugriv has sunlight in his soul. Be Sugriva's friend, for he knows all the worlds in fine detail. He can find Sita wherever she is. Rama said, "We will leave you now." They left Savari and walked on along the lakeside. Rama and Lakshmana climbed onto Rishyamukha hill. Sugriva and Hanuman, hidden near the summit, watched them coming closer. Rama and Lakshmana were still climbing when a poor woodcutter appeared from the woods. He bowed and smiled at them. "What whim has led the sun and moon to visit me here?" Rama smiled. He looked around the hill as though he had stepped fresh from the world's beginning. He looked at the woodcutter. "Oh, Hanuman of golden earrings." "Rama, I remember you now." Hanuman shook himself. There he was, white with glossy fur, a long tail curved gracefully, a red face and white teeth and light yellow eyes. "What do you want, Hanuman?" "Ravana took Sita." "We looked long after her," said Hanuman. Hanuman grew bigger. "Get on my shoulders," he said, and took them uphill to meet Sugriva. Sugriva had gold fur, and his throat looked like a piece of shiny gold. Rama embraced Sugriva, and each of them promised to take the other's joy and sorrow as his own. Then Sugriva the Monkey King said, "See what fell on our hill." He brought out Sita's scarf, untied it, and all Sita's ornaments were there. Hanuman said, "Wherever he took her, we can find her. Yet we have to hide on this hill, and Sugriva must suffer the separation from his wife." Rama said, "Let this meeting be the turning point of your fortune." The next day, Rama and Lakshmana and Hanuman and Sugriva went to the mouth of Kishkindia cave and hid in the forest. Sugriv said, "I've run in fear from Vali for a long time." Then he tightened his belt and stepped out in the open and called for Vali to come out and fight. Inside, in the monkey palace, Queen Tara said, "Listen, that is Sugriva. Something is wrong. Take warning, there is danger. Don't go out. Be kind to your brother and return him his wife." Vali said, "He is the one starting the fight." Vali ran out of Kishkindia like the golden sun popping up over a hill. He saw Sugriva and grabbed him, and the two monkeys were wrestling all over the clearing in front of Kishkindia. Then Rama's bowstring twanged. The arrow hit Vali and went right through his heart. Queen Tara ran out from Kishkindia with her son Angada, weeping. Sugriva and Rama and Hanuman and Lakshmana stood near Vali. They were pale and stared aimlessly at the ground. Sugriva was crying. The Kishkindia monkeys gathered whispering, sad whispers like the night wind. Vali looked at them all. He smiled at Tara, and he said to Angada, "My son, for anger I die. Help Rama." Vali, the shelter of hundreds, was dead. The long leaping monkeys trembled. They took Vali away on a bier covered with flowers up toward the banks of a hill stream. When they had gone, Hanuman said to Rama, "Come into the unconquerable cave city of Kishkindia." "No," said Rama. "The rain is coming. Lakshmana and I will live in the woods somewhere nearby here." There was a faraway thunder. Sugriva said, "People can't travel in the rainy season, that's true enough. When the rain ends, I promise you we will find Sita." "I'll take you to a good place to stay," said Hanuman. "Follow me, my lord." He went up the slopes of Ravana hill and led them to an airy, wide cave well lit with water near. "I could have saved Sita by now," said Hanuman. Rama started to speak, but the wailing of grief from Vali's funeral came to their ears. Rama said, "Leave us alone, Hanuman." As Hanuman turned back down the hill, the rains began. Lord Indra opened heaven's gate and threw a thunderstone, tearing and crashing through the dark clouds. Hanuman ran for home. Thunders fell, crashing closer, and round black clouds grew like pavilions in the sky and covered over all the world. Over Ravana hill, a golden lash cut into the sky, and the lightning fell and the rains were born. The earth shook, the sky broke open, and day after day all the world's water fell in an endless torrent. Then the rains relented and the wind withdrew. The wild plane trees flowered red, the autumn came and smiled at the world. Birds rose in flights from the grain fields, silver fish swam in the slow rivers, and it was almost winter. From within Kishkindia cave, Rama and Lakshmana could hear the monkeys singing and dancing to drums, and still they waited for Sugriva to come to them. "Better to act than wonder and dream," said Lakshmana. "I'll have a word with Sugriva." He took his bow and set out for Kishkindia. Angada, the monkey prince, opened the main gate. Lakshmana said, "My child, announce me." "Lakshmana waits for your promise at the gate." Angada ran for Hanuman, and Hanuman ran to the king. He found Sugriva sprawled out asleep and grabbed his feet and shook him. Sugriva awoke with a start. Hanuman said, "Get up, you fool! You've been drinking for over 3 months, and now Lakshmana is at the gate. Get up, go to him, kneel and bow down that he may spare your life. An angry friend is worse than an enemy." "Relax," said King Sugriva. "A job for the queen." Sugriva called Queen Rama. "Dear, good men like Lakshmana out there will not usually hit a woman. Go and console him." Queen Rama went before Lakshmana with many downcast looks. "Oh, Lakshmana, why are you angry with your loving friend? After long fear and shame, my husband is lost again in happiness and led astray by summary love. Even a man in love forgets who he is. What of a monkey? Forgive us our pleasure. Be not angry against us." She led Lakshmana to Sugriva. The golden monkey king rose and joined his hands together. "Welcome, Lakshmana, welcome. Come, climb the watchtower with me." They went out through the cave roof and onto a balcony high above a hilltop. Lakshmana looked out at the valleys. Everywhere, hordes of monkeys and apes and big shaggy bears covered the land. Sugriva said, 13 days ago I laid my commands on my people and I asked for help from the bears. We are all aware of illusion. We are strong and we come from all over the world. O Lakshmana, when we fight, we hurl entire hills. We stamp down the forest like grass underfoot, and we number in the millions. Hanuman went to tell Rama the animals had come. Sugriva and Lakshmana went back downstairs, and in the throne room of Kishkindia, they met Jambavan, the king of the bears, an old dark bear with a crown and earrings of gold. "Who came?" asked Sugriva. "I will tell you," growled Jambavan. "Outside your cave are white tree-dwelling monkeys, tall blue coconut monkeys, yellow honey wine monkeys, gray apes, and black ones with snaky tails, and all the great bears of earth, dark as gloom and terrible to meet." Sugriva said to Lakshmana, "Fleeing from Vali, I have come to know every place in the world." He sat on his throne and sent for the general of the east. An old gray monkey entered, moving slowly, his eyes bright and round. Search the eastern quarter of the world for Sita, said Sugriva. Go through the silver mines and the mulberry groves. Search the mountains and the rich cities by the eastern sea. Go through the wilderness and the deep woods, the mountain crags and the sandy deserts, the bare ocean islands cut off by dark waves and storms howling at sea. Search everywhere I have said to look and wherever I have not named. Stay away no longer than 1 month from today. The monkey general of the east bowed to his king, turned on his heel, and walked stiffly outside the cave city. 1/4 of the monkey soldiers set out following him. Their weapons blazed, their supply wagons rumbled, and the floor trembled in Sugriva's throne room, and they were gone. Then the red-haired monkey general of the west entered before Sugriva, fell to his knees with a crash of bronze armor, and cried, "Victory to the king!" Sugriva said, "Explore the west for Sita. Follow the cool forest streams, search the wide western kingdoms and empires, the hot plateaus and tablelands. Where the Sindhu River falls into the western sea is the Hill of the Moon, with 100 crests and 10,000 ridges lost in the sky. Westward of that hill begin the golden flower trees that led up Sunset Hill. You can go this far, but do not go beyond, where the sun and moon are put out and nothing can ever be seen. Look wherever you might expect to find Sita, and wherever you think that she could never be. Return here to me within a month." "Jaya Sugriva, Jaya Maharaja, Jaya!" The general from the west touched his hands together in a salute and left the room. The white-furred bear general of the north gracefully entered and knelt to the monkey king. "May you be pleased to command me, lord." "Survey for me the northern quarter of the world," said Sugriva. "Go into the forests of the bird tribes and the foothills, and cross the hair-raising, lifeless desert beyond. Examine the passes and the sloping sides of the icy Himalaya. Search the treeless hills of the horse-faced men. Go on, if you can, to the North Sea, whose waters are black, where darkness blots the air, fire will not burn, and time is lost in eternity. Turn back quickly from that fearful northern border of the world, and let not more than a full month pass before you return." The bear general of the north touched his sword hilt and said, "Yes." He rose and left the room, and Sugriva said, "Bring me Hanuman." Hanuman came in with Rama, padded over barefoot to the middle of the floor, and sat down. Sugriva said, "We saw Ravana fly south. Lanka is south. I make Prince Angada leader. O Rama, Hanuman, the son of the wind, will surely find Sita. Stay here with me until they return." Sugriva stood up. He withdrew a scroll from his robes and gave it to Hanuman and said, "Here is a little message for the demon king." Rama gave Hanuman a wide gold ring. "This is mine, and she will know it, for her father Janaka gave it to me after our wedding, and on it is written my name 3 times, Rama, Rama, Rama." Hanuman and Jambavan and Ungada and a quarter of the animal warriors went south. After half a month they were not far from the Malaya hills when they entered a dead forest. There was no food or water to be found, not even a bee lived there. Ungada led them on through valleys choked with thorns. They crossed chasms and ravines until at last, tired and exhausted, the monkeys and bears collapsed under the dead trees to rest. Then round a hillside flew 2 swans, dripping water from their wings. His voice faint from thirst, Angada said to Hanuman, "Let's look around there." Around the hill they saw the rocky mouth of a cave, and they could feel a cool, wet breeze when they looked inside. First Hanuman went on in. It was dark as a black night pouring rain. Angada grabbed Hanuman's tail. Someone else held Angada's tail, and so, forming a chain, all the animals followed. The slope steepened and the stones underfoot were wet. Hanuman slipped and started to slide. Then all the animals began to fall after Hanuman, unable to stop. They fell for 100 leagues. Finally they saw a light below, and they dropped down unhurt into the bright lighted underworld. Hanuman looked around and saw a white palace with gold balconies. A beautiful young girl was sitting by the jewel stairs. One by one, all the monkeys and bears came and sat down quietly around her. And though they did not know it, that marked the end of the month's time. But wherever they had gone, all the rest of the animals came again to Kishkinya. The general of the east covered his face. The general of the west sighed. The general of the north returned covered with ashes. Sugriva said, "Now it is only Hanuman who will succeed in finding Sita. But the time is past, and where is he?" In the cave where they had fallen, Hanuman asked that girl, "Who are you, and whose home is this?" She said, "I am Swayamprabha, a mortal woman. Though here, things are not always what they seem. This is Maya's cave of trees. The Asura Maya, of masterful art and illusion, built all of this." She smiled. "I will give you mangoes and bananas and honey." While the animals ate, Hanuman asked, "Where is Maya?" "He could be here right now. Maya, the Asura, is a true artist, a magician of marvelous power. Whatever Maya creates is perfect and complete while it lasts, before it changes. All is illusion, Hanuman." He would often say, "Believe it and make it true." Hanuman saluted Swayamprabha. "How may we go?" She answered, "Once anyone enters this captivating cave of illusions, especially by mistake, he can never return to earth by his own power. But I will help you. Call the others." The monkeys and bears assembled. Swayamprabha said, "Stand still, close your eyes and cover them. You must not look until I tell you." The monkeys and bears covered their eyes with their soft paws and hid their faces in their hands. They heard dancing bells chime, and it seemed they could smell the ocean. "You can look." They looked around and found themselves facing south, standing by the shore of the southern sea with the coastal Malaya hills close at their backs. Prince Angada shaded his eyes and stared toward the sun. Then he slumped to the ground and cried, "Hanuman!" "What?" Hanuman ran up fast. "Look where the sun is. We've lost our other half a month. How long were we inside there?" Hanuman stared at his shadow. Angada got up and stamped his feet. "We were tricked by illusion. The king's orders aren't obeyed." He turned to the others and shouted, "I won't straggle home a failure. I'll starve myself to death right here." The monkeys and bears swung their arms and yelled, "We will die with you." Except for Hanuman and Jambavan, they all sat facing south, all over the seashore. They fell silent and entered meditation and resolved to die. Hanuman and Jambavan turned away and walked on down the beach. It was a beautiful day in the early afternoon, and the gentle wind blew in off the sea. Jambavan stretched out in the spotted shade beneath an ancient honey tree and said in a rumbly voice, "Monkey, how is Sita lost? Tell me Rama's story." Hanuman closed his eyes and put his hands in his lap. "This tale is full of peril and safety," he began. "It will perplex the wise and baffle the foolish, and make them both follow their hearts." The little wind carried every word down past the other animals. Hanuman said, "Once in fair Ayodhya, there was an old king who had no children. The monkeys and bears around Angada began to fuss and squirm. They strained to hear the story and began to sigh and exclaim things under their breath. Then suddenly a flying shadow fell over the beach. Down from the blue Malaya hills swooped a huge vulture. He waved his wings at the air and landed heavily on the shore. His wings threw up a cloud of sand that buried Angada and all the suicidal monkeys and bears up to their ears in grit. Hanuman went right on with the story. The vulture picked himself up, he turned his head and looked at the monkeys and bears he'd buried. "It's true," said the vulture. "We are really rewarded for past good deeds, for here are fat little animals all set out in rows by the kindly gods for my dinner." Then down the wind came Hanuman's words, and the vulture heard him say, "Great was the deed of Jatayu." The hulking vulture turned and peered under the honey tree and said, "Who speaks of my little brother Jatayu, king of the air?" Hanuman replied, "I am Hanuman. The animals of Kishkinya are searching for Sita. Ravana took her from her husband Rama, and Ravana killed your brother when Jatayu tried to stop him." "My name is Sumpati," said the vulture. "If I could still fly, I'd go to Lanka and kill Ravana for that." Prince Angada jumped up out of the sand. Courteously he introduced himself and said, "Please let us die in peace. All is vain. We can't find Sita." "But Monkey Prince," said Sumpati, "I thought you knew. She is in Lanka." "How do you know?" "Prince, I am Sumpati, swift as the wind. 8,000 years ago, Jatayu and I went flying together. We went over wood and forest, streams and kingdoms, until we went so high we saw the sun shining near and large as the earth. Then the heat struck us down and I fell, shadowing Jatayu with my open wings. I found myself here on these southern hills. My wings were useless, and I have only today recovered enough to rise from my back. And this summer, as I lay helpless, I saw Ravana fly overhead with Sita. I kept him in sight all the way to Lanka, and he has not left the island with her since then. Age has not weakened my mind and eye, though my life now hangs loosely upon me, for I have not eaten since I fell from heaven." The animals who were still buried in the beach looked worried. Angada told them, "Stop thinking. Bring us some vulture food." "Say no more," they cried, and ran to the mountain woods. The food arrived, and as Sumpati ate, young new feathers began to grow from his wings like golden down. Angada asked, "How far is Lanka?" "Just about 100 leagues, no more," answered Sumpati. Angada looked out at the sea. He felt waves of doubt run through the monkeys and bears. "Who will leap the ocean and bring back news of Sita?" asked Angada. The monkeys and bears answered, "I can jump 10 leagues. I can go 30. I can jump 100, but I can't get back." Jambavan turned to Hanuman, who stood beside him. "You're young and strong. I didn't hear you say anything just now about how far you can jump." Hanuman said, "I'll do it." "O King Rama, Hanuman is the son of the fast-racing, generous wind." In his mind, Hanuman had already crossed the sea and entered the demon city. He climbed one of the Malaya hills to get firm ground under his feet. He began to fill up with power. He grew very large and heavy, and his tread pressed down the hill and crushed the caves of serpents. Hanuman's feet squeezed water from the hill. Rivers tumbled down, rock slides rolled, tigers ran off, and birds flew away. Hanuman stood on the hilltop. He held his breath and sucked in his stomach. He frisked his tail, bent his knees, and swung back his arms. Then, without pausing to think, he drew in his neck, laid back his ears, and jumped. It was grand. It was the greatest leap ever taken. The animals on the beach had never seen such a thing. They cheered Hanuman. Then the air burned from his passage, and red clouds flamed out over the sky, and Hanuman was far out of sight of land. That white monkey was like a comet, pushing the sky from his way and bumping clouds aside. The wind roared under his arms and made the ocean pitch and roll. Sea spray rose and steamed up the sun. Beneath Hanuman as he went, the green salt water parted, and he could see the whales and fishes like people surprised at home. The green hills of Lanka Island rose from the horizon. Hanuman saw the shoreline of warm white sand, and behind that many tall swaying palms and forests of aloe. And then he saw the city. She had 4 gates facing in the 4 directions, and her strong golden walls were the color of sunshine. Elephants stood under the stone gate arches, and Rakshasa bowmen looked out from the roofs and turrets. Lanka seemed a city woven from beauty, made by the mind from a wonderful dream, half remembered. Hanuman landed under an overhanging cliff on the hill, not far below the city. The late afternoon shadows lengthened. Night fell black over the dark world. Hanuman took the form of a small silver tabby cat. He tied Rama's ring round his neck, and it was lost in fur. In the dark, Hanuman sprang over the moat and walked away from the road, prancing like a cat along the base of the wall to where there was no gate. Hanuman leapt over the high wall, and landing within, he first touched the ground with his left foot, putting that foot on his enemies' heads. Hanuman waited, and heaven turned above him. Midnight came, and Hanuman began his search for Sita. Hanuman saw the night patrols of Rakshasa warriors from every demon nation, the warriors who had conquered heaven and received the surrender of the 7 netherworlds. He saw the royal spies with matted hair like holy beggars. Hanuman saw demons who looked wise and powerful, even when drunk and asleep with wine. He saw army officers talking and waving their strong arms, beating their chests and sending out orders. He saw violent, swift demons who never slept, lying in the dark, rolling their dismal, staring eyes. And over all the hum of mantras being chanted grew louder as the night went on, the very sound of the power of Lanka, filling the air. Hanuman worked his way to the center of the city. There a lesser wall ran in a great circle, enclosing the palaces of King Ravana. Hanuman jumped over it and landed in a garden. He searched one side of the castle grounds, and then the front of the garden, and then he entered a great courtyard on the 3rd side of Ravana's palace. That courtyard was as large as half a city, and filling it entirely was the huge aerial chariot Pushpaka that Ravana had stolen from his half-brother Veshravana, the treasure lord. That colossal chariot was transcendently beautiful, a car made everywhere of flowers, lightly resting 2 fingers off the ground. Pushpaka had hills and green lawns, sweet-smelling rose beds, and ivory benches covered with brocade. There were crystal windows and secret passages, silk tents and moss gardens, overgrown paths and beds of ferns. Hanuman searched all through that vast and beautiful chariot. There was no one aboard. Nothing moved. Hanuman stood at the forward rail, sniffing the air. At first he smelled the carved sandalwood of Pushpaka and all his flowers, but then the wind turned just a bit and brought from somewhere the sense of food fit for a king and the smell of costly perfumes. Hanuman thought, find the pleasure of the senses, and there find the demon king. Hanuman went into the palace. The scent of food and wine and women grew stronger. Hanuman went up a stairway of lapis and burnished gold until he reached the end of a silver-paved hall and opened a tall jade door. There was the entrance to Ravana's bedroom. Hanuman ducked inside and looked out at the huge floor lit by flaming lamps of gold and covered with sleeping women, so tumbled together that Hanuman could not tell where one lady left off and the next began. The countless wives of the demon king locked fast in sleep's embrace. Then across the room, Hanuman saw a crystal bed under a white umbrella. Hanuman drew near and looked up onto the bed. There lay the demon king Ravana, fast asleep, heroic and dark, wearing white, sleeping like a deep-breathing hill. Hanuman shrank back in awe. Ravana lay like a collection of wrongs, a mass of harm and injury and brutality and darkness of heart. Hanuman leapt to the bedroom terrace and from there into the yard behind the palace. With a little snap, Hanuman discarded his cat disguise. He was again a white monkey, and Rama's ring was on his finger once more. A low stone wall enclosed a grove of ashoka trees behind the palace, and Hanuman sat on that wall slumped over, scuffing his heels against the stone. Hanuman was tired out. It seemed he had opened and closed half the doors and windows on earth, and he could not find Sita. Hanuman sighed and addressed the empty gardens. Sita is surely dead. Ravana, delighting in evil, has killed her. And sadly she cried out for her lord Rama with her last breath. She lives no more. Tears dripped from Hanuman's eyes and ran down his red face. Ah, how unhappy. What a failure. I can't return with nothing to answer Rama. Never again will I laugh and play with my friends of the forest. Oh, I can't stand it. I will die. Every word of all this empty talk went down the air to the long ears of Vayu, the wind lord. Vayu stood behind the winds of the world and started to whisper at his son Hanuman. That miserable monkey lay across the low wall, sobbing and rubbing his eyes. Then from afar came the winds, nearer and nearer. The million flat leaves of the mountainside trembled. Hanuman opened his eyes and peeked out through his furry fingers. A whirlwind was headed straight at him. Vayu, the wind, took a deep breath and blew his son right over the wall. Hanuman tumbled and rolled under an ashoka tree. The wind died down and Hanuman picked himself up, brushed the dust from his fur, and looked around. In the center of the ashoka grove, Hanuman saw a tall, overgrown sinsapa tree standing by a pond, with torches flickering around it. And as night departed and the sun rose from the sea, he climbed that tree and hid in the leaves, thinking, Sita always loved to walk the woodlands and bathe in ponds like this among wild creatures. She may come here at sunrise. Then some Rakshashis came from among the Ashokas and put out the torches burning round Hanuman's tree. They were a gruesome, ugly group of hideous horrors, a small host of furies and gluttons and scolds and fiends. They made Hanuman's eyes sore. Ravana, the demon king, got out of bed smiling and straightened his robe. He slicked down his hair and his 10 mustaches and went out a back door and through a gate in the wall around the Ashoka grove, blinking his glaring red-shot eyes in the sun. Hanuman watched from far within the dark shadows of the sinsapa leaves. Then he saw her. Hanuman saw a fair woman of the human race arise from sleeping in the dirt under another nearby tree. She came over and sat with her back against the sinsapa tree, her legs drawn up and her worn, dusty yellow robe covering all her body. Hanuman thought, it is Sita. Much changed since I saw her carried away. She seemed bewildered, lost, and fallen. But it was truly her. It was Sita of fortunate looks, thin from grief and fasting, lean and trembling. Hanuman thought, oh, Ravana, we'll get you for this.